Greetings, fellow thinkers and drinkers, and welcome to another episode in our Motörhead series, going through the albums. We left our heroes last time. Their finest was their finest work to date. Another perfect day. Although, as we finished the last episode, things were not particularly rosy in Motörhead land. Despite the success of the record, personal problems were getting in the way, shall we say. And, Robbo left or was asked to leave, and Filthy went with him, as it transpired, leaving Lemmy in a state of flux. Effectively had no band. And because Another Perfect Day was not a success at the time, it was easily their least selling effort to date. And given the chaos that surrounded the band at that time, having lost Fast Eddie, replaced him with Robbo, that's being seen as a failure, or perhaps even a disaster at the time. Things didn't look good. Lemmy naturally took some time to consider his future, I suppose. I don't think there was ever any real doubt that he would not continue with Motörhead somehow, but certainly had some challenges. He recruited Pete Gill, ex of Saxon, to play the drums, and held auditions for a guitar player. He narrowed it down to two: Phil Campbell of the relatively unknown band Persian Risk, and Wurzel, who was completely unknown at that time. Could not decide between them, so took them both, and so for the first time, and only time in their career, Motörhead became a four-piece. While all this was going on, their ex-record company at this stage, Bronze Records, decided to release a compilation greatest hits type thing, as record companies want to do. No Remorse, as it was entitled, came out in 1984. And some of the original pressings, LP pressings, they came in leather bound. The album sleeve was actually leather. It's rather nice, actually. I think at Lemmy's insistence, because he had a new lineup, he managed to convince them to allow the band to record 4 new songs for inclusion on this, the best of which was undoubtedly Killed by Death. But at some point, they did some touring to re-establish themselves. But at some point they had to record an album, which they did, and ultimately was released in 1986, 3 years after, effectively, Another Perfect Day. The album being Orgasmatron. So, there we have it. What did we get? Well, in terms of classic opening songs, they haven't dropped the ball yet. Death Forever is great. Really heavy song. Ominous sound to it. Really memorable chorus. Almost a hook. Really great song. And what it says to you is, "Hi, we're back." So it had that reassuring factor to it as well. They followed it up with Nothing Up My Sleeve. Now this ups the tempo considerably. And this is a typical Motörhead rocker. It would not have been out of place on any of the Fast Eddie albums. It's that type of construction. It's got a ring of familiarity to it, but it's a damn fine song. And an instant classic? Well, it certainly would have been an instant classic had it been on Overkill, Bomber, Ace of Spades. Next, in a similar vein, I have to say, is Ain't My Crime, which has got an absolutely fantastic chorus to it and hook. Great tune, great melody. Yeah, this is another instantly memorable song. So far, this is a really good record. The new guys are obviously very good, very accomplished songwriters, as they will prove themselves over the years. This lacks the melodic sensibilities that Robbo brought to the band. And they are more metal than Fast Eddie was. And that's going to start to show itself. However, we move on. Claw. Yeah, another one's Fast and Furious. It's another one is typically instantly recognizable Motörhead song. Although I have to say the chorus is slightly weak on this one. And it's not up to the standard of the first three. Sadly, that's going to be a continuing theme for a while. Mean Machine, another short, 2 minutes, 30 something. They do this on occasion. We've discussed it already. Fast, it's catchy, but it does lack a bit of identity. And again, for the next one, Built for Speed, yeah, okay. Slightly the same. This is more of a mid-paced effort. And to be honest with you, when you first hear it, musically, this owes something, a debt, shall we say, to The Chase is Better Than the Catch. Listen to them. Certainly, yeah, an inspiration, shall we say. But despite the decent melody, this is just not as good. And again, I have to say the chorus could have been a bit stronger. Try a little bit harder, guys. The next track was Riding with the Driver, which was originally supposed to be the title of the album, which goes a long way to explain the cover design. Which is very obviously a train, and trains, as we know, have drivers. What the eventual cover has to do with an Orgasmatron, whatever an Orgasmatron may be, I leave to your own fertile imaginations. Obviously nothing, as I think the change came far too late in the day for the artist to redesign the artwork, and so they just went with it. I have to say, I think Orgasmatron's a better title for the album. It might have been better had they decided that slightly earlier, and we could have had a cover which reflected that. Again, the mind boggles, but it probably would have been interesting to see, if nothing else. Okay, the song, yes, was intended to be the title song. Because of that, you may expect it to be rather good. It's rather average, unfortunately. It's good, but it's not great. It's like the preceding three. It is good, but not great. And after a really strong start, the album is starting to flag a bit. However, we are saved by Dr. Rock. This is back to the great stuff. This is a Motörhead classic, and rightly so. Yeah, they played it live for a long time, and yeah, it's obvious why. Great song. And the album finishes with the title track. This is new territory for Motörhead. This is really heavy. You know, we are Motörhead, we play rock and roll. This is a metal song. You can't. I'm sorry, Lemmy, but this, yeah, as I said earlier, and it has to be the influence of Wurzel and Phil Campbell. I think more metal orientated than either Fast Eddie or Robbo. But it's got a simple driving riff, pounding beat. It has an almost hypnotic quality to it. New ground musically? Yeah, sure. Great ominous song. Always went over well live. They never really returned to this type of thing. Not really. Discuss maybe something in the future where maybe they try to hark back to this, but no. But it stands as a classic, and it ends the album in spectacular fashion. So what to say generally? Well, this is a good to very good album. There's those three songs in the middle. They're just, as I said, there's nothing on here that's bad, but those three are just average, I'm afraid. It does let the side down slightly. Also, the production is a bit thin. Doesn't have the necessary weight that the material requires. Something that would plague them again. But other than that, this was a good start from the new lineup. Yeah, after 3 years of silence, effectively, yeah, the boys can be proud of this one. Put them back slightly on the map. Although commercially they were never going to be a huge success again. But their reputations, they built their reputation back, and they became a steady, solid lineup for the next decade going forward. And spent most of their time, when not drinking, on the road. And occasionally recording albums, as we shall see. All right, that's that. Again, any thoughts? Please feel free to comment, to like, to share, to subscribe. All those other good things that you can do, which I think are good for me and good for the channel, and cost you absolutely nothing. Okay, we'll pick this up next time. Because obviously, when you produce a good album, especially after you've had a break and had some upheaval, it's almost like a fresh start, and it needs to be followed up. And next time, we'll see how they fared. Until then, I thank you for your indulgence. Be well, and Mashonkia.